Hello, good morning, and thanks for joining us. Apologies for the slight delay in getting started. We were just resolving a couple of technical issues with the sound. But thanks for joining me, Sam Hicks, as we find out more about what it's like to work in childcare. With me today, I've got a couple of guests who work in the sector and know about the sector. If you'd like to introduce yourselves.
I'm Matthew Rees. I'm the Workforce Development Officer for Newport Flying Start.
Hi, I'm Emma Levy. I'm a Flying Start team leader for Newport Flying Start.
I'm Phoebe. I'm a training officer for Club Impact Coming Kids Clubs, Live and Play With.
Thank you very much for joining us today. During the course of the webinar, we'll be speaking to our panel here. We'll be looking at a few short videos, and you'll have the opportunity to send in some questions. So if there's something you'd like to know, then do get thinking about what you'd like to send in. But to get us started, we're going to have a quick look at a video that will set up the context for the sector.
The care sector in Wales is a very broad sector. It incorporates everything from early years care to elderly adult social care. Today we are focusing on early years care, which deals with looking after the needs of younger children. Childcare workers provide a safe, educational and a happy environment for young children to play and grow. But what type of roles are there within the sector? And what are the job prospects for the future? Let's start by looking at some facts. 1. The future. There will always be a need for childcare workers. Working adults and those with other commitments need reliable, trustworthy and well-trained people to look after their young children. 2. Demand. Social Care Wales predict a need for 20,000 new jobs in the wider care sector by 2030. A large contributing factor to this is an ageing population, but there will also be a need for more than 1,000 nursery nurses and nearly 400 play workers. 3. Employment. Although a lot of the jobs in the sector will be with larger businesses and establishments, there are a lot of micro businesses in the sector too. For example, there are nearly 1,900 child mining services in Wales. 4. Job roles. These can include play workers and nursery nurses who work in everything from nurseries and creches to day centres and children's care homes. There are also roles such as a nanny who would work in people's own personal homes and childminders who use their own home to look after children.
That was a useful overview there to see how childcare fits into the broader care sector and some of the roles that you might be able to do. Today, though, we're going to be focusing specifically on early years and childcare. If you have any questions for our guests today, then you can send them in to us via email by sending an email to ask@careerswales.com, and that email address might be appearing on your screen now. But we're going to take a pause of 2 minutes a bit later in the webinar to give you a chance to consider the questions you might want to ask and to send those in. And our guests are going to answer as many of them as they can during the live session. Any that we don't get round to, we will send a response to you via email. So Matt and Emma, you both work at Flying Start. Emma, could you kick things off for us by telling us a bit about Flying Start, please?
Yeah, so Flying Start has been running since 2007. We are 4 strands. So we're from the childcare element of it. Then you have the parenting programmes, you have the enhanced health visiting, and then you have the speech and language section. And there's a lot of sectors within that, but as we're from the childcare, we deal with a lot of creches, so that might be children from 0 to 4 years old. And we're with the childcare, which is the play group mainly, and we provide 2.5 hours a day, Monday to Friday, for each children in a postcoded area within Newport. Other authorities do work very differently, and the way that our programme runs in Newport is that we have a language and play session once a week that we invite parents to. We have things that are celebration days and parent participation days. But all of our childcare is in Newport, and it's around the surrounding areas. We have 19 play groups that we manage.
Fantastic, thank you. And could you tell us a bit about your role as well, Matt?
So I'm the Workforce Development Officer. So my main role is arranging the training. So like the video will say, the sort of mandatory training, pediatric first aid, food hygiene, manual handling, fire awareness, risk assessment, that type of thing. But my role is quite varied. So I can get asked to arrange large events like National Play Day. We do a couple of events that we have to have celebration days. So we get involved in that. I run the social media channels. We've got Facebook and Twitter channels. which is a great way to communicate with parents because that was a big barrier for us in the past. I also deliver some training, so I'm a forest school leader, so I deliver some outdoor learning, as we might talk about. I'm trying to get a bit more of a play element involved in the childcare.
Fantastic, thank you very much, and we'll be speaking to you both later. We went to visit Flying Start, so we're going to have a quick look at a video now that tells us a bit more about working in practitioner roles in a Flying Start setting.
My name's Hayley Edwards. I'm an assistant practitioner of Flying Start and I work in the Mappers Playgroup. I've worked for Flying Start for 5 years. It's been a great experience. I did work in private nursery, so coming over to the Flying Start, and I have got 2 boys, it's great for the holidays, and obviously you work great hours throughout the week. Here at Malpas, because obviously the other playgroups do work varies as well, but here we do 8 o'clock to 5:30 on a Monday, so we have a late night, and then Tuesday to Friday we work 8:30 to 3:30. What I enjoy mostly about working at Flying Start is working with the children. It is the best experience, seeing them growing and when obviously they start, how much they progress for when they leave, and that's really a great achievement. There's nothing I didn't expect, I suppose, but with working in a private sector to obviously Flying Start, there is a slight difference. There is more opportunities for you to move up the ladder. So you can obviously go from myself as an assistant to practitioner. There's also obviously a deputy role and then senior. So you can move up the ladder if you'd like to. And again, there's always courses and obviously qualifications you can do alongside the job.
So my name's Claire Flagg and I work here as a senior practitioner. I've worked for Newport Council for 4 years. I've been senior prac for the full 4 years, and my role involves managing the day-to-day running of the playgroup. That's anything from the paperwork, managing the staff, setting up the playgroup. So we manage children with additional learning needs. We communicate with the nurseries and the schools for when the children are coming in and leaving. So part of the role is to include child protection and basic first aid for when the children fall over and get cuts and bruises. We communicate daily with the parents to make sure they've got all the information they need. We organise trips at Christmas and the summer for the children to participate on. I done work experience in school for 1 or 2 weeks and I had children in the family, so it was just one of those things that I was always around. I like the role because it's quite varied, you're doing different things every day and there's never a dull moment when the children are around because they're always saying different things and doing different things to keep it entertaining. I've been in this role for 4 years, but previously to that I worked for 5 years in a different nursery where I was the deputy and then I moved here for career progression. There's a lot of career progression within childcare, so you can start from as easy as level 1 going straight up to level 5, which is management level. Along the way, obviously depending on where you work, but with Flying Start there's a lot of benefits, so training courses such as child protection, first aid, manual handling, fire awareness, which are your basic courses, and then additional courses such as forest school training, additional learning needs training, training to work in the homes with the families, so there's a lot of opportunities.
My name is Katie Pope and in the morning I am a practitioner and in the afternoon I am an additional needs practitioner. The difference between a practitioner and an additional needs practitioner is usually your role is a one-to-one or a one-to-two basis. So either working with one child or possibly 2 children. It's usually one. They are children with varied needs, can be medical, can be behaviour, variety of things. I've worked for Flying Start for 11 and a little bit years. Previously to that I did a parenting programme that required some work experience, and I did work experience with Flying Start and they offered me a job, which was really, really great. What I love most about working with children is that every day is different. They do pose challenging behaviour and it's really nice to be able to make a difference and help them through those struggles and those challenging times.
My name's Tegan and I'm an apprentice here at Flying Start. Been here since March 2019, so not that long. I was doing an administration apprenticeship, so I didn't like that, so I was just sat at a desk all day and I found I got bored and the work was quite challenging as well, so I like to be outgoing. Found an interest in working with children, so they managed to swap me over. You learn different things from going into different environments so you know what you want to do obviously I'm still not, I'm still a bit unsure what I want to do, so doing this is helping me realise if I want to do this or not. I didn't know how hard it was going to be. Obviously people think in a playgroup you're just going to play with the children, but it's not. The children's lives are kind of in your hands, so it's quite challenging and very tiring. You're on the go like all the time.
My name's Hayley Edwards. I'm assistant.
Thanks very much for the look behind the scenes here. That was really interesting and useful. Emma and Matt, when you're recruiting for roles there, could you tell us a bit about the recruitment process and how that takes place?
Yeah, so what we do is we advertise on a Newport City Council website. For a lot of our posts, they go internal because what we try to look at is professionally, gaining more experiences and using the staff that we already have. But when they go out as an advert, and then we have to have 3 people on an interview process, and we're looking at what staff actually put into the application. So really look at it and provide that information for us. Then we have a robust recruitment process where we shortlist. 3 people then decide on who they need to shortlist in accordance to the job description. And then once they come in and we shortlisted them, they interview. Part of that interview will be based in a setting, working with the children and observations happening. And then we have about 8 to 10 questions, mainly on safeguarding, confidentiality, their experience within childcare, whether that is voluntary or whether that's experience that they've had, because we're very eager to get people in straight from school. So then they have that, and it goes on a point system. So depending on how they score, we would offer the positions to the people who have scored the top score. And then we would look at getting references and DBSs, obviously pending offering them the position.
And is there a lot of competition for roles then?
I think initially when Flying Start started, we were creating so many childcare posts that at the time the sector we were struggling to keep up with everything we needed. But because we're so established now, especially, and all the local authorities, but we're really established in Newport, and with the childcare offer coming in to all the local authorities, so Newport's going to be having more and more places for the free places for 3-year-olds. We are actually struggling to recruit, mainly Welsh speakers, and obviously we would be really keen on getting some men involved. We've got 2 childcare practitioners, male childcare practitioners, 1 back worker. We've got 2 male volunteers. So as a percentage, we're looking at maybe 2.5–3%. And I think the industry average is 3.5%. So even for us, so we're really promoting that type of thing. So we're really keen on getting male volunteers, male students. Traditionally, it's still a female-based job role. So that's something, there are 2 main shortfalls at the moment.
So Welsh language skills and encouraging boys and men to consider looking at childcare as a role is important. That's really useful. Is there anything that makes anyone kind of stand out as a good candidate, being someone good to work in a childcare role?
I think, obviously, because we go on a point system, it's if you feel that you're going to repeat yourself, doesn't matter. You just need to keep saying certain things. If you have a question and you feel that you've answered it in a previous question, just say it again, because I think that's down for when people come in for interviews. They forget that they potentially need to just repeat themselves, and if they think there's a question is really stupid, there's not a stupid question. Literally just answer it, because that's the main thing. We know that people are going to come in with interviews and they're going to be really nervous. The majority of the points, like I explained to you earlier on, goes on the observations with the children. So really the interaction with the children is the main thing that ultimately that what we want out of it.
That's really useful, really interesting information there. Thank you very much. It's lovely to have Phoebe with us here from Clwb Plant Cymru. To find out a bit more about Clwb Plant Cymru and what they do, we're going to watch a short video now and then have a chat to Phoebe.
Clwb Plant Cymru Kids Clubs was set up in 2001 and exists to help communities in Wales by promoting, developing and supporting quality, affordable, accessible out-of-school childcare clubs. Breakfast clubs take place before the school day begins. parents drop off their children at the club where they can have breakfast and play until the start of the school day.
Children come in, have activities provided and their breakfast before they go to school. We transport them to school via walk-in.
After school clubs take place at the end of the school day.
We collect the children, provide them a snack and they have fun activities at the end of the day.
Holiday clubs run during the school holidays. Parents drop their children off at the club and collect them at the end of the session.
Well, the parents know that they can bring their children in the morning and that they are in a safe environment until they pick them up in the afternoon.
So we heard a bit there about Clybie Plant Cymru. Phoebe, can you tell us a bit about your role there?
So I'm a training officer delivering apprenticeships and in-club workshops for playwork.
Great, and how long have you been with Clybie Plant?
18 months, but I was a play worker before that for 10 years.
And what is it that playwork involves?
Developing skills for children, really. Would you say that, guys?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sort of like self-development for children, really. And time for them to socialise as well.
Great. And we heard that it's predominantly a career that maybe women have considered historically. Is that also the case in playwork?
I'd say about a quarter of the workforce is male, so it's probably a little bit more than early years, but it's still lacking.
Do you think it's changing at all?
I think it's getting more, especially for part-time workers, sort of like people in uni and that sort of stuff. It's more male-orientated, but yeah.
And when playwork roles are advertised, how does that happen? How do you recruit into playwork?
Probably through social media and a lot of volunteering, that sort of stuff. So a lot of people get into it more through volunteering as they're younger and then sort of fall into the roles.
Great. And the work pattern is a bit different, isn't it, from working in maybe private nurseries and daycare? How does that affect the type of people that maybe is best suited for?
I think it is harder because it's broken shifts. There might be breakfast clubs, after school clubs, holiday clubs. So it might be that it's sort of like a second job for somebody. So they might work in schools and then they go to an after school club as a second part of their job. So it's not so much full-time work, I wouldn't say. But it's definitely a good job to have because skills, they're very transferable skills. Yeah.
That's great, thank you very much. Now, as mentioned earlier, we're going to take a 2-minute pause to give you a chance watching out there to think about the questions that you might like to send in. So we're going to take that pause now. While we pause, you'll see on screen some information about how to send those questions in to us. much for sending those questions through. Our team are going to look at pulling those together, and while we do that, we have another short video for you. We went to visit Shelley, who is the Welsh language lead at Pacey, and she's going to tell you a little bit about their organisation, which provides support and training and advice to practitioners like childminders and nannies who work throughout England and Wales. So here's a short video to find out a bit more.
Shelley is Quality and Training Officer for Pacey Cymru, Professional Association for Childcare and Early Years. My role within the organisation is a Quality and Training Officer, which involves preparing, delivering and coordinating training across the country. I have recently had responsibilities for the Welsh language and the foundation phase. Pacey Cymru is an organisation that is funded by Welsh Government. The roles are supported by Welsh Government to provide support and development for childcare, predominantly childminders and our members, as well as nannies. There are quite a lot of differences between working as a nanny and a childminder. As a nanny, you will be employed by the family. In comparison to a childminder, you will be self-employed. Your business, it will be up to you to run, and you will be working the hours that you choose to work, rather than the hours that the families give to you as nannies to choose to work. As a nanny, you will often work 10, 11, 12 hours a day, possibly 24-hour cover, depending on the families, and you will be expected possibly to work in the evenings and weekends or holidays even. As a childminder, it is your own business, as I mentioned, so it is entirely up to you. However, you will be flexible towards the families that you work with as well. It often is another long day. It can be 10 hours, but you could choose to work Monday to Thursday if that's what you choose to do.
So far we found out about jobs at Flying Start and in different settings. This time we're going to have a quick visit to Amanda Calloway, who's a childminder, to find out more about her role.
Do you like ketchup on your cornflakes? No! My name is Amanda Calloway and I'm a self-employed childminder. Watch me on the film. I kind of came into this job by accident. It was always intended to be a sort of a stopgap. I thought it would fit with my family whilst my youngest was little. I really didn't want to go back to my high-pressure sales job, stuck in an office 9 to 5 every day. And honestly, it's one of the best decisions I've ever made. Do you want to use a spoon, Annie, to do some mixing? Childminding is extremely flexible. I can decide the hours that I work to fit in with my own family. It's worked really well for me. Thank you. What is that?
And that is from...
That's a Cheerio.
Yeah, I just have it in his mouth.
We access the outdoors as much as possible. Fulfills a need for me as well as them. The children make it. It's like seeing the world through their eyes. Just watching them grow and develop from babies right up to the independent and confident children they are when they leave me and go off to school. It's just an awesome job. Oh dear me.
Do you like?
Thanks very much for sending all those questions in. We've got quite a lot here. I'm going to put a couple to the panel now, and we will get back to you with answers to those that we don't manage to answer live. Someone's asked from a school in Penydre in Merthyr, how could I go straight into working with children straight from school? And what sorts of jobs could a health and social care qualification help you with?
So health and social care is probably a stepping stone into, on the Care Social Wales framework, you have the CCLD level 3, which is the qualification that we actually stipulate. But it mainly is that the qualification is in 18 months and they would go on to that course and work with us at the same time. So you could come in as an assistant. People might find that they prefer working in a college and they find that having a tutor there day to day really helps. some of our staff come in at a grade 2 and they're classed as assistants, and they kind of do the CCLD at level 3. I actually did the health and social care qualification initially before I decided to go into childcare, and I thought it was a great stepping stone. Lots of experience, and it really depends on that person, what they feel that they would like to do.
And that's the same in playwork as well. People can go straight in from school and then do an apprenticeship scheme of a level 2 or level 3 in playwork then as well.
That's great, that's really useful. Someone's asked about volunteering as well, and if that's useful.
Yeah, I think from our perspective, if we can have someone volunteering so they could be just from school, just from college, whilst they could have their placement while they're in college, because as Emma said, when we're doing the interviews, the questions will be easily answered once you've had experience, and we can provide that experience. So, you know, a question could be, how are you creative and imaginative? Well, you know, once you've been in a playgroup and you've done things, you know, I've run 12 school sessions thinking this would be brilliant, it's completely fallen to pieces, because that's what we want to see. How did actually we change that session to be actually this is not age appropriate? So those questions are fairly straightforward once you've had a bit of a placement. So it could be a placement college, or it could just be purely volunteering.
And it's really useful for them to see if that's what they actually want to do. So rather than going straight into a qualification, if you do a bit of volunteering first, you can decide whether it's something you want to do or not.
That's a really good tip, really useful. And the last question I've got here that we're able to answer now is, what sort of wages can somebody expect, you know, at various points?
So for us, our staff are on a pro rata contract, so they work 40 weeks of the year. Obviously it's 52 weeks in a year, so you know they get some lovely time off. And it could be probably between £16,000 up until management, which is around 25 grand a year. So it will vary depending on the pro rata contract, but it's roughly around that cost.
Yeah, and I think it's the same with us. It's a scaled thing depending on your qualifications and your position. But it's definitely a vocation. It's not, you're never going to be a millionaire in this job, are you? It's definitely something you've got to do for the love of working with children.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you very much, everyone. Before we finish, I'd like to let you know about a website that you might be interested in. WeCare.Wales is a website that has lots more information. So that brings our session to an end now. A big thank you to Matt, Emma and Phoebe for being with us today, and to those who took part in the videos earlier, giving us a great insight. A big thank you to everyone out there for joining us and for sending in your questions. And in the meantime, if you need any more information, careers information or advice, or reliable LMI on the care sector or any other sector, then do check out our website, careerswales.com, and you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter as well. Thanks very much.